My name is Elena Vargas. I am 35 years old, and I work at one of the largest technology companies in the country. Or rather, I used to work there. Because now I am so much more than just an employee. It all started 3 months ago when I noticed my husband Adrian acting strangely. We had been married for 12 years and I thought I knew him well. We had a comfortable life, a beautiful home, good careers, and what I believed was a solid marriage. Adrian was the financial director of our company while I worked as the product development director. We met at the company 15 years ago, fell in love, and built our careers together. Or so I thought. Elena, have you seen the reports from the last quarter? My assistant Sophia asked one morning while I was reviewing some documents. Yes, the numbers are excellent. The new product is exceeding all expectations. I am not talking about the financial reports. Your signature appears on some large transfers that I do not remember us discussing. My heart stopped for a moment. What transfers? Sophia showed me the documents. There were transfers of more than $100,000 to an account I did not recognize. The most disturbing part was that apparently I had authorized them. This must be a mistake, I said. But Sophia shook her head. I have checked 3 times. The digital signature is yours. That night when I arrived home, Adrian was not there. I sat in our study and began reviewing all our joint accounts. What I found left me frozen. Large amounts of money had been transferred over the last 6 months to different accounts. While I was investigating, I heard Adrian's car in the garage. I quickly closed the laptop and pretended to be busy with my phone. You're late, I said casually. Lots of work, you know how it is. He replied without looking at me directly. Is everything okay at the office? Yes, everything normal. He loosened his tie and headed to the kitchen. By the way, Elena, I was thinking, why don't you take some vacation? You have been working very hard lately. I looked at him steadily. In 15 years of knowing each other, Adrian had never suggested I take a vacation in the middle of an important project. I can't. We are in the final phase of the new product launch. Come on, the team can handle it without you for a few weeks. Something was not right. I decided to play along while I continued my investigation. The next day I met secretly with the CEO of the company, Mr. Thompson, who had been like a mentor to me for years. Mr. Thompson, I need to speak with you about something delicate. Of course, Elena. What is happening? I showed him all the evidence I had gathered, the falsified transfers, the altered documents, and the discrepancies in the financial reports. Mr. Thompson took off his glasses and rubbed his eyes. Elena, there is something you need to know. I am retiring next month. What? But I have been observing everything that has been happening, the transfers, the suspicious movements. It all started when I announced to the board that I was considering my successor. My mind began to connect the dots. Adrian had always wanted to be CEO. Your husband has been working with Melissa from the legal department to take control of the company. They have been falsifying documents and manipulating reports for months. Melissa. Now everything made sense. The late arrivals. The extra meetings. The secret calls. Why are you telling me this? Mr. Thompson smiled. Because I have already made my decision about who will be the next CEO, and it is not Adrian. That night when I arrived home, I found all my credit cards canceled and my access to the bank accounts blocked. Adrian was waiting for me in the living room with a cruel smile. Surprised? You should have taken those vacations when I suggested it. Now you will have to beg to survive. Why are you doing this? Because you are an obstacle. Melissa and I have plans, big plans, and you no longer fit into them. I remained silent, thinking about my meeting with Mr. Thompson. Aren't you going to cry? Beg? No, I replied calmly. I am just wondering what the board will say tomorrow when the new CEO is announced. Adrian's smile faltered for a moment. What do you mean? I guess we will find out tomorrow. I went to the guest room, leaving Adrian confused and worried in the living room. I knew tomorrow would be a very interesting day. The next morning I arrived early at the office. I had slept little, but the adrenaline kept me awake. I dressed in my best suit and made sure I looked impeccable. Adrian had left before me, probably to meet with Melissa. As I walked through the company hallways, I noticed the curious glances from my colleagues. Some whispered, others avoided eye contact. It was obvious the rumors had spread. Elena. Melissa appeared suddenly with a fake smile. What are you doing here? I thought you would be indisposed. Good morning, Melissa. Why would I be indisposed? Her smile faltered. Oh, I just thought with everything that is happening. Do you mean the fraudulent transfers? Or your affair with my husband? The color left her face. Before she could respond, the intercom sounded. All senior staff, please report to the boardroom immediately. In the boardroom, Adrian was sitting next to Melissa, both looking confident. I sat at the opposite end of the table, ignoring the pitying looks from some colleagues. Mr. Thompson entered and cleared his throat. Good morning, everyone. As you know, I am retiring next month and today I will announce my successor. Adrian straightened in his chair, adjusting his tie. But first there is another matter we must discuss. Mr. Thompson pressed a button and the screen showed all the documents I had collected. In the last 6 months, there have been irregular financial activities in the company. I watched as Adrian began to sweat. Unauthorized transfers, falsified documents, and Mr. Thompson made a dramatic pause, an attempt at corporate sabotage. Melissa grabbed Adrian's hand under the table. I could see the panic in their eyes. Adrian Vargas and Melissa Torres have been manipulating financial records and diverting company funds. Additionally, they have been using Elena's digital signature without her authorization. That is ridiculous. Adrian stood up. Elena is making this up because she is jealous. The police and the FBI already have all the evidence, Mr. Thompson interrupted. In fact, they are waiting outside. As if on cue, 2 FBI agents entered the room. Adrian and Melissa froze. And now, continued Mr. Thompson, I would like to announce my successor as CEO of the company. He looked directly at me. Elena, would you accept the position? The silence in the room was deafening. Adrian looked at me with a mix of shock and horror. It would be an honor, I replied calmly. As the agents escorted Adrian and Melissa out of the room, she began to shout. You cannot do this. We had a plan. I stood up and approached Adrian before they took him away. By the way, about the bank accounts, I already took care of that. It turns out, being CEO has its advantages. The news spread quickly through the company. Within hours, everyone knew that the betrayed wife had become the new CEO, while the unfaithful husband faced federal charges. That afternoon, while I was settling into my new office, Sophia entered with a box of my things from the old desk. Elena, there is something you should see. She handed me a folder. I found it in Melissa's desk. Inside were more documents, detailed plans to take control of the company, emails between Adrian and Melissa dating back more than a year, and something that left me breathless. A plan to accidentally delete all my files and projects once they had removed me from the company. I cannot believe they planned to destroy all my work, I murmured. But they did not succeed, Sophia replied. In fact, you did exactly what Mr. Thompson expected you to do. What do you mean? He knew about Adrian and Melissa for months. He was waiting to see how you would handle the situation. It was a test, and you passed with honors. I leaned back in my chair, processing all the information. The day had been a roller coaster of emotions, but now sitting in the CEO's office, I felt strangely at peace. Sophia, could you schedule a meeting with the legal team? We have a lot of work to do. The following weeks were intense. As the new CEO, I had to deal not only with restructuring the company but also with the media scandal that followed the arrest of Adrian and Melissa. One morning, while reviewing reports in my new office, I received an unexpected call. Elena, this is Adrian's mother. My mother-in-law, Carmen, had always been a manipulative woman who spoiled her son too much. Carmen, what can I do for you? This is ridiculous. How could you do this to your own husband? You ruined his life. I laughed softly. I ruined his life? Wasn't it him who blocked me from all the accounts? Who stole money from the company? Who cheated on me with Melissa? You are ungrateful. Adrian gave you a wonderful life, and this is how you repay him. No, Carmen. I built my own life, and if Adrian is in trouble, it is because of his own actions. He needs a good lawyer. You must help him. You are his wife. Soon I will be his ex-wife. And about the lawyer. Perhaps you should sell some of the jewelry he bought with the money stolen from the company. There was a long silence. What do you mean? Oh, you did not know. The transfers Adrian made, part of that money was used to buy you gifts. The FBI is very interested in recovering all those assets. Carmen began to babble excuses, but I interrupted her. I suggest you consult with a lawyer soon. After hanging up, my assistant entered with more news. Elena, Melissa is requesting a deal. What kind of deal? She wants to testify against Adrian in exchange for a reduced sentence. She says she has more evidence. Of course she does, I murmured. She always had a plan B. The months that followed were transformative. The company grew under my leadership. I implemented new policies of transparency and ethics, and our new product was a resounding success in the market. Adrian was sentenced to 15 years in prison for corporate fraud and embezzlement. Melissa received 7 years for her cooperation. My mother-in-law had to return all the jewelry and gifts bought with stolen money. A year later I was in my office when Sophia entered with a letter. It is from Adrian, she said, handing it to me. The letter was a mix of apologies and pleas. It said he had realized his mistake, that he missed me, that prison had not changed him, At the end he asked if there was any possibility of reconciliation when he got out. I took the letter and threw it into the shredder. Sophia, could you schedule a dinner with the team? I want to celebrate our last quarter. Of course. By the way, did you see the article in Forbes? They named you one of the most influential CEOs of the year. I smiled as I looked out the window of my office. You know? When Adrian blocked me from the bank accounts, he said I would have to beg to survive. I guess it did not turn out as he expected. Definitely not. Sophia laughed. That night, while having dinner with my team, I received a text message from Mr. Thompson, who was now enjoying his retirement. I always knew you were the right person for the position. Sometimes those who try to destroy us only make us stronger. I raised my glass. To new beginnings. To new beginnings, my team replied. Sometimes when people try to sink you, they end up giving you wings to fly higher. Adrian wanted to destroy me, but instead he gave me the opportunity to prove my true worth. And that is a lesson I will never forget. Thank you for listening to today's story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next story.